Hello and welcome again to the new segment of Venezuela Insider. Today is Sunday, November 16 or morning, November 17, depending on where you are. And well, today we have to do another, kind of like recap, play-by-play on what's going on. Well, first, we have to address the elephant in the room, and in this particular case, the aircraft carrier in the room, and the military affairs. Sadly, that's the most important thing right now, the biggest thing happening right now. The USS Gerald Ford package group officially now is on the Caribbean, according to open source intelligence. On this week, has been reported that it joined the U.S. Southern Command, so it's under that administration, but now officially is on the Caribbean. Previously it was on the Atlantic, close to Puerto Rico, but apparently right now the Ford package group is within the Caribbean, and the rest of the buildup is in position. Of course, they're always moving around, doing some replenishment operations and logistics and moving personnel and all that jazz. Okay, the situation still a standoff. According to some news, CBS and other media outlets, apparently Trump had a meeting this week on the White House where he received information, of course, from the intelligence community of the United States, CIA, and all of those agencies, updating the intel on the current operation and the potential options. And apparently, according to CBS, the options have been already decided, but we don't know yet. And afterwards, a lot of give and take, statements on both sides that are irrelevant. Probably the most important comes from Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War, formerly Defense, that says that announcing the operation, the quote-unquote Operation Southern Spear, so that name will go in history apparently, but allegedly is an operation meant to dismantle drug cartels operation. Now, since you're an expert, and honestly I don't like to talk about military affairs, I like to talk more of business, finance, things like that. Let's get into that. Yeah, I have to go again. The bonds are surging yet again. Mentioned this on a recap. Also, there have been, interest from both UBS, the Swiss financial firm, and recently from the U.S. financial institution Citi. And we are expecting, there is a rally actually going on such bonds. Still long way to go. They are still cents on the dollar. And apparently they are never going to reach face value, but they are being rallied. Good on that. Now, many people are discussing the time window, when it's going to happen and when it's going to happen. And of course, I don't know. And the answer, only Trump, maybe 2 or 3 people close to him knows the answer. Most people are speculating weeks, even days. The consensus says that it should be before the end of the year. For political calendar of Trump, Trump next year has the midterm elections, and he doesn't want a war, a military conflict, just on 2026. Militarily, the US has all the capabilities. Now, the consequences and the cost is what is to be determined. But most likely, the US military has no match. Right now, Venezuela won't be that match. I mean, the Venezuelan military. Other news, we have the opposition leader, Maria Corina Machado. She recently became a laureate of the Nobel Peace Prize. And actually, the official ceremony is on December 10 in Oslo, Norway. And she has confirmed that she will be at the ceremony when she will receive the Nobel Prize. Now, and also the Nobel Prize Committee, also they confirmed that they are expecting Maria Corina Machado to take her award. And if you're new on this particular situation, Maria Corina Machado has been on a hidden location within Venezuela on the past year and a few months, year and change, and because, fearing some represalias from from Maduro's government. So she's in hiding and somewhere in Venezuela. So in order for Maria Corina to receive the Nobel Prize, she will need to solve this particular political standoff that we have now in the country. Basically, it's a three-way between Maduro, Maria Corina, and Trump. Maybe you can add Marco Rubio on the same side. So we're still, expecting. So you can put the deadline for that particular date. Also, some people speculate by Thanksgiving because they want the operation to be over with before Thanksgiving for the U.S. military personnel go home to their families. It's a very important holiday in the United States, just as important as Christmas. And of course, you're gonna hear a lot of terrible analysis abroad. Many people that don't know the country at all. Actually, they've never been in the country. They don't speak Spanish or anything like that, but they think they're an expert. Well, they're not. I am. So, I'm sorry. It is what it is. So, now let's review what's going on in Venezuela, boots on the ground. Everything is calm, actually. Life goes day by day. People going to work, kids going to school. Some people on the weekends go and grab a beer, go to party, go to the beach. So in that regard, it's not a draconian scenario right now. But the only thing is that the Maduro's military is doing some exercises, some drills, moving military equipment to, in order to be prepared for, evacuations or any particular potential response. And that's what we have right now. Last thing with the financial news. Let's go very quickly with the oil industry that right now is producing, depending on who you ask, slightly over 1 million barrels of crude oil per day, and some other sources a little bit less of 1 million, mostly from OPEC. Comes that second report. The Merey crude oil that's the signature crude oil from Venezuela. That will be the equivalent of the WTI or the Brent. Is trading just slightly below those prices on the mid 50s, 55, something like that, per dollar. So not that much. Production has slightly increased, but also has to be sold. The oil, Venezuelan oil, has to be sold, with a slight discount due to the sanctions and the frictions during this particular situation. So, nothing more to add. Hope you had a very nice weekend. We're still, on the move, watching the news, watching what's going on play by play. And if something really meaningful happens, please follow me on Twitter or X, as you want to call it. It's on the description below. If something really happens, I'm going to go, on real time, give you the best update and then the analysis. Thank you again for your attention. We'll see each other on the next video.